Okay.
All right. Meeting is called to order now. First of all, the agenda. Does anybody wish any changes or additions to the agenda? There being no suggestions, the agenda is approved unanimously.
Are the two visitors on the agenda?
Say again,
Are the two visitors on the agenda?
I believe so.
Yes.
One is from
The site
the
link.
I think they're both from Cyprus.
SCA, and the other is, what the,
He's with him.
is it AAR?
No, he's with him. They're
AAR?
together.
Arrowhead AED.
They're together.
Oh, they're together, okay.
It's a tandem bicycle.
Are you here with SCA, the bicycle thing? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, with regard to the minutes from the last meeting, anybody want to make any changes or additions?
Move approval.
Second.
All right, they're approved unanimously.
We are so on it.
Okay, the next thing on the agenda is the golf report. Okay, Paul, you're up.
Okay, I can't hear anybody out on the park board there talking at all. It's all garbled. I don't hear it.
Yeah, we're working on that, Paul. In the meantime, I'll try to, you can hear me pretty well, right?
I can hear you good, yep.
Yeah, so as we go, we'll,
If need be, you can translate for us.
Okay, all
Okay,
right.
go
Well,
ahead, Paul.
okay, well, let's see, I guess a couple things to go over here is we just did kind of a worksheet on the rates for next year, and basically this form kind of shows the history of our rates over the last few years. They've been jumping up pretty good. We are at the high end of the spectrum right now, so we're kind of trying to put on the brakes on that a little bit. I basically just put this, our current pricing from last year at 3% increase across the board. You can see the pricing with the 3% marked above it. That's where the computer would bump up everything exactly 3%. And then the far right would be our established prices, which are rounded up or down. So, for example, 9-hole greens fees would be 31, 18 would be 46. Last year's were 30 and 45. Yeah, so, I mean, all that information is there, basically doing our green fees, our season passes, our car rentals, all that, it's all listed, and it's very similar to where it was last year, except just up 3%. I'll just continue from there. I can't really hear anybody talking back at me or questions or anything right now, but
Can you hear us now, Paul?
I can hear you. Yeah, right there.
how about,
Can you hear me? Hello, hello?
No, that's, no.
Is he looking for a motion to,
One of these is.
is he looking for a motion to approve these?
Eventually, and I think we're going to make one when he finishes his presentation.
Oh, I thought he was done with this.
Everything's rounded up, but one's rounded down, I see, but.
Given the communication difficulties we've got, maybe we should just have a motion and you can tell Paul what we're doing. How's that?
sure, yeah, I'm happy to translate.
So, you have a motion, I understand, Kate.
Sure, I mean, I'd move to approve the 3% rates as he has them listed in the chart here.
I was looking for the roundups, if that's okay.
Oh, yeah, exactly, sorry.
All right.
That makes more
Is there
sense.
anybody who wants to second that? Bob?
Yeah, the pricing is 3%, and then it's just rounded up or down, whichever one is the closest to that figure.
Right. Any discussion? I'm happy.
Okay, Paul, I don't know if you heard that.
All in
We got a-
favor, raise your hands, please.
Okay, we got a motion, Paul, to approve your
You
rates.
approve too. Okay, it's unanimous. We've approved it. You can tell them that.
Yep. So
Okay.
it's approved.
Thank you.
Okay, let's see, the next thing was, I've got the grinders, to kind of get approval on those. I kind of laid it out basically in a nutshell. The grinders that I got up there, they're my own grinders. I've been using them for a while. Just to kind of inform you on the cost of, well, it's like a necessary piece of equipment. Involves, hi Patrick, involves two pieces, the reel grinder for the reel itself, and then a bed neck grinder for the part that matches up to the reels. Those are the two components for grinding the reels. The proposal for my setup is $25,000. That's including the trailer that it's in, so that we don't have to worry about building any accessory room. That's kind of, grinding is a really, it's a dirty process in a way. There's a lot of fine dust flying around, so you have to kind of isolate that, and so it's already, all that's done being in a trailer situation. I put a new set of SIP grinders, and they are the same models as we currently have at the golf course there. And so there, you can see the difference if you purchase the new ones. They're, with what's happened to the dollar and all that. Basically, they're $93,815 is what a new set costs. And so, I know all the history of our grinders. They're basically purchased to be demonstrating equipment. So they're in good shape, everything's good, and the main thing about the grinders is they're gonna hold their value for a long, long time based on that they are the same as the current new model, and they're substantially less money. So, and we know that the equipment's in perfect working order. So that's about that. I put down some other cost considerations involved with reel grinding. If we were to, like I said, I've been just grinding these reels. I've had my equipment up there grinding them, but I'm at the point where I've got to sell them now. And if we were to take the grinders out, have a contract ground, the estimate there from Toro is, well, what they charge is $235 per reel. We've got 19 reels. Basically, we have an expense in, basically between $4,000 $4,500 every year. So that would be eliminated owning our grinders. Let's see, I put down some products just for kind of like comps that you can look at as a comparison, what you find on the internet for sale, used stuff. And again, you need two pieces of equipment. You need the reel grinder and the bed neck grinder. I listed other equipment that's in a similar price range, and then there's an old set of SIP grinders they're older models, so they really aren't going to be exact comparable value, and they're quite used. So you're looking at, I've got the other sheet there that basically ran down why the problem with looking at this used equipment and stuff like that. You just don't know. We know the condition of the equipment that I got versus stuff you're buying out in the open market. You don't know what's the condition or how the care of it's going to be. Probably the main difference in the equipment. The main difference in the equipment to me would be the fact that what the SIP grinders do versus like the Express Dual and the Foley grinders, because we're grinding within 1/1000th of an inch, and so these features like the SIP grinders, basically you take the cutting unit, it's laid on the tabletop itself, which is everything is spec'd out within 1/1000th on that whole tabletop. So when you're done grinding the cylinder, everything's perfect to 1/1000th of an inch. And so that's something the other units aren't really offering. The other features are a relief grind. There's a flat grind where you just grind flat, And the relief grind takes off some of the leading edge, which is something that's commonly done to the bigger reels, the fairway reels, which we have 10 of those. Actually, we've got another older set, but we hadn't. I don't know if we're going to be grinding those very regularly anyway. But we've got, those are key features that kind of separate the units from, for example, some superintendents might not even consider an express tool because it doesn't have relief grinding on it, and that's kind of where we're at. We can do any kind of grinding we want with these SIP grinders. So that's kind of it on those. So that's what I'm looking to propose for purchasing those for $25,000.
Paul, can you hear us now?
I can hear you a little bit, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, good.
Well, what's he looking from us?
Motion for approval, or a motion to recommend purchase of the used grinder set.
Gotcha.
Before we get to that, do I understand that he and Mike have agreed on this number?
Yes, we've met.
And that was $25,815. So we need a motion
No, it's-
to
It's
recommend
25,
that the city go, what?
it's 25,000, yeah, even, I guess.
25,000 even, okay? So we need a motion to recommend that to the city council.
I'll make that motion. I'll make it.
And did somebody second it? Oh, no, rush for it.
You're gonna second?
You do it.
I'll second if she doesn't.
All right, is there any discussion?
Where's the money coming from?
Where's the money coming from?
Where's the money coming from?
The general fund.
Yeah.
The park boards or the cities?
Just the cities,
The
yeah.
city's general fund, okay.
Okay,
I mean, technically, so the golf budget has a built-in capital number as a placeholder for capital purchases. It's $15,000 annually, but the idea there is not every year spend 15,000. It's a bit of a float, saying, over 20 years' time, we need to allocate 15,000 every year to keep up on replacement of equipment. Carts, mowers. This grinder's definitely not on the list, or wasn't on the list at the time of, formulating that capital amount of 15,000. But it's essential, we just needed to basically do the paperwork of, it's a good deal, and we can afford it. Or
Okay.
if everybody
Well,
feels
we
that way.
had, he has to do it,
Right, the alternative would be to send them out,
and it's expensive, yeah, it's worse.
4,500 a season, so after 4 or 5 years, we're money
so
behind.
in 5 years, it'll have paid for itself.
Exactly.
Plus, he's already donated to us several years of the use of the grinders.
Well, I think there's a couple other key thoughts too, like, if you own your equipment like this, you can keep your cutting units in the spec of what the mower manufacturers requires for the cut that you want and all that, so we'd be able to do that, and what that allows us to do is operate with the older equipment that we've got. We don't care if it's older, just so it's cutting at factory spec, that's the most crucial thing to give us the greens that we want. The other thing is, like I said, because of that $25,000 figure, I think in 10 years' time, I don't think it'd be moving much because of the value of the new ones are so high, and the equipment's gonna last forever. You could have need some minor issues with a bearing here or something like that, but nothing crucial. So like if upkeep is done on the equipment, then it just holds value. So I think it's a good investment that way.
Okay, any further information or discussion? All those in favor, raise your hand, please. Craig raised his hand too, I could see. All right, 5-0, thank you. Thank you, Paul.
That's Now we have one last issue of capital, it's the carts, purchasing carts for this season.
Yeah, the golf carts, basically I got, we've just been purchasing new carts. Our budget isn't, we've just been getting a few here and there, and then those purchases have been interrupted with other things that we've been purchasing, equipment-wise that we needed. I had a lead on a golf course that I'm familiar with. They've got club cars like very similar to ours, but they're renewing them. There's our 2014s. They're in really good shape, and I'm trying to get them. I made an offer to the club president there for the units, but they, in fact, I think yesterday they started offering those to their members to purchase first. He wants to get $3,000 for them. And I talked to the sales rep, and he said basically after because of the age they're over 10 years old or whatever, that they really drop in trading value and all those sort of things. So but I know those cars. I've been out to the course. I do some contract work for those guys at the end of the year and stuff, and those cars are in really good shape. I offered them 2,500 each. Right now, I think they've got, let's see, I'm trying to think of how many we'd be able to get if we can. Yeah, I think he had maybe 8 carts available still. They're holding on to some of their carts for some of their tournament things, and then they'll, whatever, I don't know. Those kind of, I feel like that, I would recommend trying to get all the carts that you could from that location, because they'd be replacing our old Yamaha carts that would be, that are from last century. They're like 1998, 99. They're shot, they're totally shot. And we still have them running because we have to, but we aren't proud when we don't like using them. And basically the products that,
Carts that you're looking at have windows on them?
yeah, these would have windows on them, yes.
That's better than the ones they're replacing.
Like a windshield.
Yeah,
Yeah, they have windshields on them.
okay,
And,
so your
there's some-
recommendation is that we purchase all 8 of them, if we can get all 8, at 2,500 each?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, so again, Paul and Mike and I all met on this a couple weeks ago. Paul laid this same sheet on us. We all agree we need to upgrade carts or to replace the really old carts, and that the budget is what it is. There's that floating figure. We know we've just spent 25,000 on grinders. We didn't spend any on capital last year, just as an example. Like some years we don't buy anything. So the 15, maybe it rolls over. But yes, we agree we need to upgrade carts. We need to spend money on carts. Paul's found some excellent values here in the used market. And the administration is comfortable with the budget if the board and the council are. So we're just sort of moving this through the paces of the review and giving Paul the motion of support to pursue the purchase.
So
Yeah.
we're passing it on to
Well-
the city council.
The other obstacles too is like, I'm gonna have to wait a couple weeks to see
Right.
if there's even gonna be any carts available to us from that party, or, they might be buying them, their members might buy them all up, I don't know. But that's the way that cookie's gonna crumble. The other, thing that I had listed on there was the cost of, 3 new carts. Now in the past, we had purchased 3 carts, and that was under our $15,000 budget, and of course, prices have changed. So I guess it'd be, we could, yeah, I've got 3 carts listed here they're $18,000 for three new carts. And I don't mind buying the new carts. I think I kind of recommend it because, you have 4 years of warranty on them. Back when we bought our other club cars, had we, well, sometimes, financial things happen, it's weird, but like these values, because of whatever reasons, we had bought our other carts, our new white carts, those for $4,000 a piece, now they're $6,000. So the thought was, even then, you could run those things for, 5 years, and then you could sell them to, any members who might want to be buying them, or you just sell them on the open market, or trade them in. And then, eventually, these costs would catch up, but it's kind of a surprise at the value that they hold, while they're newer, but then all of a sudden, after 10, 12 years, all those values start to change. But anyway, I guess my point is that, I'm over to 15,000 with that 3-cart purchase. The other option is, you get two carts at a time, but we're kind of trying to catch up here to have enough carts. We've been
Paul, if
Just
I
some of the-
understand correctly, we're paying less for these individual carts. So the 2,500 times 8 is what, about 20,000, right? Which is a
Yeah,
huge-
yeah.
Which is a lot better than 6,000. So I think.
Well, it is, yeah, that's why I would recommend getting all those if we can, even though it's over the $15,000 thing or whatever, I think we're still gonna do better purchasing those. Because they are gonna be, they're gonna be a good value for a used unit, From my observation, like I say, I've seen the units many, many times. The course is pretty, they don't have a lot of, hills, and they have like one hillside, and they have little cart paths, and they've got grass everywhere, so the carts they're clean all the time, it's noticeable, they look good, so.
So one idea we had internally, because of the unknown, the used carts, we don't know how many we're gonna get a crack at. We'll
Yeah.
probably know in the next month or less, but, so we don't have to keep going around on this. It's sort of a pre-approval or a recommendation to spend up to $20,000 on carts. And then just leave that to Paul on the cart count.
Carts, yeah.
So maybe he gets 4 of the used ones, and then he's got a little budget to get 1 or 2 new ones. But if everybody's comfortable with $20,000, that's what we would recommend
Yeah,
to
okay.
spend.
I take it you're okay with that, and you think Michael and the city will be okay. All right, is there a motion to recommend to the council that Paul get $20,000 to spend for up to 8 carts? Used.
Sure.
I believe
Second.
that's a motion by Bob and a second by Matt.
And a question,
Yes.
what does the windshield matter?
Oh, when it's raining, you like not to have with the wind in your face, or the rain in your face. Plus, if it's windy out there, the window makes it far more preferable, more pleasant.
The windshield-
to use it.
Yeah, the windshields
So I
keep a
think,
lot of the weather off of people, if it's raining, they get caught in the rain, or if it's cold, it keeps the wind direct off, and it makes quite a bit of difference for comfort and all that. And you can, they're set up so that you can retract them down if you want open air, if it's nice out and all that.
the window flops down, half of it. So you can have air if you want it.
Yeah, I didn't know the environmental risk was so great.
It really can be very uncomfortable if it's windy or rainy.
Yeah, I guess I'm used to winter sports.
Well, this is not a winter sport.
Apparently not.
It certainly isn't a winter sport up here. So is there any further discussion? Hearing no request to talk, all those in favor, raise your hand. I see 5. In a burst of unanimity, have we finished the golf report?
I believe so.
And this,
Paul, thank you for showing up.
Okay, thank you.
this does not come out of the capital fund, this comes from some other source.
Right, the golf course does not have its own standalone capital fund like the park. It could, it might, it should, we'll talk to city council about that maybe during budget season, but currently it's just is absorbed through the general fund.
Just in general, okay.
Basically, what's happening is the rec park is subsidizing the golf course on the margin.
You could say that, with our large transfer of cash into the general fund, it's an healthy.
And less so in recent years than in the past.
Yes, for sure, last year was that idea of like an overperformance on the budget, we had projected at $170,000 of revenue, we finished at 192, so an extra 20,000 went into the general fund.
All right, we already voted, didn't we?
Yep.
That was just further explanation. Okay, well, thank you, Paul.
Okay, thank you. See you soon.
Thanks, Paul.
See you in April and May and June and July and August and September and October.
Bye-bye.
Okay, next is the city council report. Craig, what do you have for us?
February 25th, we had a city council meeting. The only thing on the agenda actually was a presentation by Mitch Travis concerning the Sawtooth Bluffs master plan, or a discussion about pursuing a master plan with HKGI. The county wants to contract with them, the same company we contracted with, to do the rec park master plan. So he presented a discussion of the bluffs, and part of that discussion was an ask to the city to help subsidize the initial amount of money needed to contract with HKGI, which was half of that, which approximately around $25,000. So the city council had a discussion concerning that. We moved to stay in the discussion with the county on the hill behind us. However, we wanted to have a little bit more discussion amongst the city councilors on the financial contribution that we're willing to put into it at this time. I think.
This is for the big park up the hill.
Yeah, it's for
the city county deal.
It's for developing a master plan for the land that's owned on the hill, the city land and the county land
Right.
together, yeah. So that's what was discussed, and you emailed us, was that yesterday?
This morning, yeah, the
This
parks
morning.
report, yeah.
Parks report,
Yep.
did you get it? If you read
Yep.
Dave's parks report, that's kind of a summary of that whole conversation that we had.
So if I understand it correctly, the council's still considering the city share, basically.
We are. We're also considering the fact that the county has money for specifically this type of thing, whereas we don't have money for specifically this type of thing. We didn't budget any money for this, but the county has some TIF money that they can use that is for this type of project.
So we're still negotiating with the county over the cost.
We haven't had a meeting on it, but that was the discussion that we had. We didn't vote on that topic. Mike was not at that city council meeting. But we discussed I guess the discussions that we wanna have down the road is, if we move ahead with this and go down the project line, what is gonna be suggested, what's gonna be built, what's gonna be put up there. The biggest question that I think a lot of us have on the city council is who's gonna maintain it, who's gonna run it, if it's gonna be something that we have to run or operate, those questions, you know,
Remain open.
yeah,
I think we don't need to do anything about that today.
no, No, it's just informational and, yeah, I mean, there was I don't know what's on the 2018 master plan. I'm not sure what KGI is thinking about doing with that or how they're gonna use that into a new one. I have no idea, but that's the questions, I guess.
Okay,
That we have.
anybody have any questions or comments on the city council report? Are there any more subjects you wanna share with us today?
That was the only thing on that agenda,
Okay,
actually.
Dave is distributing the parks report, which is the next item on the agenda. It begins provocatively, last month Woodward.
Yeah, so probably already heard this news. It's been a few weeks since the big blizzard. Big breeze in the bay, lots of ice, lots of damage in the marina. Marina docks are damaged. It's kind of the bottom line. Don't know the full extent of the damage because they're still locked in ice, but they definitely got moved. The pipes got bent, the mounting hardware got broke. An insurance claim has been filed, and we're probably faced with easily 5 figures of damage. So we can fix things, we can replace things, everything's gonna be fine. Sort of my attitude. It wasn't a catastrophic loss, they weren't mangled, they weren't sunk, some of the main piers look very much intact, so it's really just some mounting hardware that's been ripped around, and it's aluminum framework, so it takes a little extra welding, or extra talent with welding, but I'm pretty confident we can rebuild and things will be fine. It is a bit of an eye-opener, wake-up call, you could say, to the power of the big lake and how helpless we are sometimes when the winds blow big and the ice comes in, and it's just one of those freak storms. I mean, obviously I've been watching those docks for 20 years, I've never seen anything like this. You go down there now, it's pretty impressive the amount of ice that's on the rubble wall. Probably gonna be there for another month or so unless some big south waves come in and wash it all off. But yeah, really a major storm causing some pretty good damage on the docks, but we will rebuild and repair and we'll be fine.
Dave, any boats damaged?
No, fortunately, it was the off-season. We no longer offer that winterize or keep your boat in with our de-icer service. We had years ago, had a few boats on the docks that were always causing me a little worry and anxiety, and I'm glad we got rid of that program. North House had a big boat de-iced, and lucky for them, all the ice was down on our end.
Yeah, I think the schooner Charlie is locked in ice, but so what?
Yeah, they didn't. It was real interesting, even in the difference between A dock and B dock. And they both got pushed, 6-8 feet to the north, like up to the sidewalk. But B dock, most of the pipes are still straight up and down. Like they detached from the ground and slid without damage.
Wow.
And then A dock, everything's bent and broke. And yet most of the ice is out front of B dock. So really neat, power of the sea, power of the ice.
Would have been kind of fun to be down there.
It wasn't,
Oh, were
that
you
day?
there? Did you see it happen?
yeah.
You had to go down right to it because
Yeah.
it was so windy and blustery, the visibility, you couldn't see anything from the
Ooh,
highway.
that
Yeah.
sounds dangerous.
You
It
didn't know what was
was,
going
and
on.
there was so much ice filling in there was, like the water became just full of ice, it forced our de-icers out of the water. It was like a snow cone, filling up a paper cup, and there was no water, it was all ice.
Did it sound bad? Were there bad sounds?
Yeah.
Like docks being torn up and
Yeah.
ice and stuff?
Oh.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it was really bad.
God.
We'll be fine.
It's a big pile.
All right, then now we'll shift our focus across the bay, the Boulder Park Shoreline Protection Habitat Enhancement Project. This has been a couple of years now. We've been working with the National Wildlife Federation, provided some funding through a coastal resiliency grant that was, I believe, awarded in 2024. Most of last year we spent on data collection and wave analysis and what's it going to take to improve that old sheet piling wall that's just to the south of the trading post. And you know how that corner sort of takes the brunt of some big southwest waves. We get the shoreline erosion on the backside of that wall. And so engineers from Stantec have been hard at it. and have come up with 3 draft concept plans for improvement in that corner. You know, the first one is basically a bigger, taller sheet piling wall. The second one is like a rip-rap rock revetment, they call it. And then the third one is kind of a hybrid model of a fortified wall and the rock revetment. So all 3 of them feature like the pedestrian walkway on the shoreline of things, because we know that's such a popular area for strolling. And all 3 will be available for public review and engagement, I would say, within the next month. We actually had a penciled in open house scheduled for after this meeting tonight, but we realized with the timing and the review that we wanted to do internally, that just wasn't gonna work out. So we did just look at these plans as a team last week and had sort of these smaller comments for changes and addressing stormwater drainage. And so the engineers are gonna get back on that. We're gonna look at those revisions later on this month. But hopefully have an open house either end of this month or early April. So be sure to get the word out on that, share those plans with you as well as the community. And really, this is a smaller corner, smaller project that's part of the larger piece of Coast Guard Point planning. We've been telling these folks all along that our intentions, you know, we know the Coast Guard property is in transition. If and when it comes into city control, we'll have a master plan for that whole point, right? And the wall and the shoreline and all that, this component will be important as it's, you know, data driven, but it's just a small piece in a bigger picture of that really prime piece of land. So a longer project on this, but hopefully we'll get some good feedback at an open house. And then like Craig touched on, Mitch Travis last week at the council meeting, just what Craig said, council reviewed a pitch from Mitch to partner up with HKGI. They were receptive to the partnering. They did not take any action on the funding. I believe that'll be revisited at the next council meeting or soon. And then a final note on our reservations coming in strong. We're through the busiest 2 months of July and August. Things look very even to last year, just like I was saying last month. So really a good, I would say, indicator of the busyness to come. We are just now starting the September books, which include the what would have included the Radio Waves weekend. We've had lots of calls, not lots, but several calls from folks that didn't know. And so I just, maybe a chance to get the word out that there will be no Radio Waves on the second weekend.
If the caller send money, maybe that'll change his mind.
I don't think it's that easy. But yeah, it's gonna be a good season based on the books.
Great.
One quick question, what percentage of the big park up the hill is city land and what percentage is county, do you know?
It's 640 acres, approximately 200 acres is city, and 400 is county, so 1/3 city, 2/3 county.
So that would be an argument for less than half of the cost of the master plan.
We got the pretty side though. The city land's the front face of the rocks and the front slope. The county's kind of over the hill, but they have a rare pattern fern.
Don't remind the county of that.
They're aware.
Yeah.
Did that private parcel get bought?
I saw a headline about it
Yeah.
moving
Yeah.
forward.
Yeah, I think they
It was-
got the money.
It was in process. I wonder if that went through.
So, is there more to your parks report?
That's it.
Other questions or comments? There being none, we'll move on to the new business. The first is Superior Cycling Association, and there's two gentlemen here, one of whom is coming there, and you can use that chair, yes indeed. You want to state your name for the record?
Hello, Mr. Chair, members of the board. My name is Jay DeCoux. I am the chair of the Superior Cycling Association, and this is Shane Steele. He is the executive director, and we would like to, I just figured I'd talk really loud. And we would like to have your ear for a few minutes to discuss the possibility of a partnership between the Superior Cycling Association and the Grand Marais Recreation Area. So I'll let Shane do most of the talking, and I can answer questions as necessary.
Yeah, and just a note, you may recognize my name. I also work for the city. I'm the sustainability coordinator. This is a separate side gig So here as executive director of the SCA, not sustainability coordinator for the city.
So we got Mr. Steele's memo with the pictures.
Yes.
I gather we all had a chance to look at it ahead of time. I have just one question, and that is, why do we care about the community center aspect of it? Is that the old one as opposed to the?
So yeah,
Okay.
the pump track was in the ice rink. In the summertime, no ice. There was a pump track there. It was first built there in 2025 spring. And we obviously had to remove it to put ice in there. And we found out that moving it is very, like, it's gonna break if we move it multiple times. We acquired this from a grant. The intention was to reassemble it and disassemble it each season so that the ice rink could be used for.
What's the relationship of these two pictures?
It's just a spatial, it's like to give you an idea of the amount of space it takes up.
Yeah, so in my first image, you can see an aerial of the pump track pieces in the ice rink. And there's two parts. There's the pump track, which is this circular, not circular, but this continuous flowing track. And that's on the right side in that image. And then there are those little wooden features that you kind of ride on them and ride off of them. And so I tried to spatially show the space that both of those parts take up in this area to the west of the boat launch. And I tried to show in that image also just what would the pump track part take up. So it's like, I think I call it like figure 3. And there's A and B. A is both the pump track and the bike park. B is just the pump track.
What does pump track mean?
Pump track is like I should have brought more pictures. It's a bike and scooter skateboard feature, and it's got these rolling curves, and it goes in a loop.
Pump track.
Yeah.
Okay.
It goes in a loop, and
This is where they do their tricks with their bikes.
yeah, they ride around on them, and you can ride it. And it was next to the skate park up there, and we're looking for a more permanent, semi-permanent home. So I guess what we're asking is, are you interested in hosting this pump track for a few years, 5 years?
I assume it would be an amenity for us. Yes? No?
My question, what's the insurance like for something like this, and who's?
Superior Cycling Association holds the operational insurance on the pump track. So our current partnership is with the Cook County Community Center to have it located in the hockey rink, like Shane was saying. And so there is an understanding of a shared liability there, but the actual liability of any injury or any kind of issue that happens with the pump track would come back to Superior Cycling Association. And our blanket insurance program covers events, and it covers the mountain bike trails that we manage throughout the county, and it also covers the pump track.
So is this on the group campsite, or is it south of the group campsite?
I would say south and west. It's kind of where the old transformer storage, there was that chain link fence just to the southwest of the group camping on that corner. It's like,
Okay.
it was like a storage, at one point I believe it was like a substation for the power plant.
Mm-hmm.
But it then kind of morphed into storage, transformer, equipment storage for the electric department. So it was originally programmed with the DNR's boat launch as like auxiliary parking, when we were looking at plans for the parking lot for the boat launch. That included space to the west of the existing lot as like more parking, almost you could say a phase 2, if and when the existing, we built 30-some parking spaces on the current lot, and if that ever became not enough, this land is earmarked for additional parking for the boat launch. Once our budgets were fully developed and our use patterns were better known, I believe that is no longer the case. We don't have any obligation to the DNR to, reserve this land for future parking. It's really open space. It has become quite overgrown with invasive species. The tansy has taken over this space. So the future is unknown as to what its, best and highest use would be. It isn't currently programmed. The master plan didn't provide any guidance on this as far as what could or should go there in the future. It shows blank on the master plan. But I will say this now that we're talking about our new bathhouse down in this area and how we initially portrayed it across on the north side of the road and consuming up to 4 campsites. A lot of practical sense and logic has now led us to believe that this corner, this group site might be the best spot for that bathhouse, given its visibility, its proximity to the launch and the pavilion, and its ability to be constructed without any disturbance to the existing campsites, right? Like, this is maybe not the best time to change our plans for the bathhouse in this meeting, but I want to put that out there as I think we could or should reconsider our new bathhouse location from north of the road in with campsites to this corner, to group 1 corner. And if that's the case, and even if it isn't, the pump track's kind of in the way. I would say the pump track would be in the way of bathhouse construction at group 1 corner.
And one of the beautiful things about the pump track, the way that it's configured is that it's flexible. It can be configured in a number of different ways. The examples of what you have in your pamphlet right now are one option. The 2 components of the pump track, there's the actual fiberglass continuous loop that can be configured in a number of different ways to take up different amounts of space, to cover different amounts of ground. And then there's also the true beginners features, which are the elevated wooden platforms, can be placed in any layout whatsoever. It doesn't have to be placed in the layout that is seen in the hockey rink. So there's a fair amount of flexibility as far as taking up space is concerned, and flexibility for if a change for your designs were taken. Another definite factor about this pump track is that it is temporary. It can be moved, and we have successfully moved it once. And what we're looking for is an opportunity to have it live in a place where it can get the use that we want it to, and so that we can also help build some programming around it. The youth cycling team has used it in the past for training and for teaching kids how to pump their bikes over without pedaling over obstacles, and we see the SCA sees that having this in a place with a higher density of kids in an area where recreation is the standard would only increase the usage on it and thus continue to further the mission of the Cycling Association. We see that as possible synchronicity if it works with your space, if it works with your plans. So we would love to further that conversation.
That being said, it is extremely difficult to move, and it can be moved, but if we make the effort to move it down there, we're hoping that we can do that for many seasons, like 3 to 5 seasons or something like that.
Is it fenced in, is it open?
It was just
all the
open,
time?
it was in the ice rink, it was just open 24/7, just, yeah,
And
and
what do
it,
you picture this down here being fenced in, or I mean, or is it just, so it's just,
open.
it's
I was
used all
just,
the time?
assuming it would be open.
It can live outside all winter, and it's pretty. It's when it's up and in use, it's pretty sturdy. Moving the pieces around, we're learning. If we move it too many times, I think we're going to break a piece, and then either replacing it or shortening it. So
Can you flip it east-west?
Absolutely.
it can be reoriented in any way.
Here it's situated north-south.
Yeah, I just tried to represent the size of an ice rink in that space so that you would be able to kind of see that it does fit in that location, but you could also just put half of it there, or we could put part of it there and have it to fit around the bathhouse if the bathhouse gets moved.
Isn't there land to the west there?
Mm-hmm.
And it's not buildable land, right?
I had buildings on it in the past.
That's why it's not buildable
But I thought it had to
land.
be,
Yeah,
cleaned,
right,
some
it's
cleaning up
toxic.
of it, or no?
Yeah, you don't wanna dig that up.
That's true.
What's the base, what do you need for base? Just gravel?
Gravel.
Yeah,
Just
just
need blacktop?
flat gravel.
I mean, in an ideal world,
You're gonna
blacktop
put
is
something down.
amazing, but the you know, in the hockey rink, it's just gravel, and it works just fine. We have ground spikes that we can drill in, but we drilled in a couple of the smaller beginner features because those were the ones we were like, well, these are the ones that actually probably could be moved, and so we drilled those down so they wouldn't get moved. But the other pieces are heavy duty enough that it would take a group of 6 guys working hard to pick up and move any of it.
If we had this installed here, we would be the only rec park along the shore that would have such a facility, right?
Certainly.
Yep.
And you weren't sure it was an amenity. Do you wish to comment on that more further? I was assuming that there would be some youngsters with bikes who would wanna do it who camp at the park, and it would be more convenient to them than going up the hill.
But there could be some oldsters at the park that want peace and quiet at that campsite right next to this and might be put off by it. And so I can't
So
comment.
there would be a question of hours of use, at least in part, at minimum.
On the existing signage, and of course, having it in the, I will admit that having it in the hockey rink is a little bit different than having it out, you know, in the open down there in the rec park. But in the signage, we have it clearly labeled that the operational hours or the hours to be used are from sunup to sundown. So I think that those are roughly in line with quiet time hours at the park. So that's something that obviously SEA is not going to be available to enforce all the time. Although I can tell you that I personally will probably be down there a fair amount riding it just because that's really close to my house.
You folks have raised some suggestions that might make it more acceptable. I wonder if we should have you and Dave talk some more about this.
We're definitely open for that, yeah.
Does that make sense?
We've talked. I'm just passing this information through. I'm just a conduit. This is a pretty big decision you guys need to make.
I have some questions. How many square feet, you got different square footages here of space that you can use. What does it use now? That's 17,000 square feet, figure 8? Is that what it's doing now?
Let me.
17,000.
So yeah, it
29.
Well, figure A is 17,000, figure B is 8,400, and then you got 2 different figurations for the rec park.
so they're not. Yeah, they're not.
19,000 or 10,000, I mean,
So I was showing in figure 2, A and B, that's in its current configuration, that's how much space it needs.
A?
A,
Okay,
and then B is just half of it, that's just half of the ice, that's just the pump track feature.
yeah,
Figure 3 is showing that the space down there that Dave and I talked about is more than what we need, so it would fit down there.
yeah,
And B again is showing that half of it fits in half of the space.
yeah,
So I guess what we're asking, what we really want and we're hoping is to place the pump track down there. If we can place the pump track and those other features, we'd be happy to do that too, but our main ask is the pump track because that one is just so difficult to move and assemble and disassemble. I mean, it's possible, we did it, it was difficult, it took 3 days and, 3 full days of work, but yeah, just those yellow boxes, just trying to show that the space fits. You wouldn't need to clear anything or do any that we wouldn't have to take any trees out or interrupt any, other uses, like that space is big enough.
So is the space available up by the community center now because of the playground, community center? Is anything north of the community center, is that all pretty much used up now?
I met with Sarah Waddle and I asked her if there's anywhere on the community center property that we could put this so that it could remain up, and she did not offer me any space. There's always some use, even if it's, for just a little bit of the year, like that parking space is used, this is used.
Well, I don't know what's back there, there's this,
We looked,
the hockey rink, there's a ice
Community
skating rink,
gardens, the community
community
garden,
garden,
parking for the community garden,
oh yeah.
happy ride.
ball fields.
Then you come in, there, visually I noticed there is space there, I just don't know what's.
There is, and I asked Sarah if we could find it, and she did not, she said no.
Okay, what am I thinking, just by looking at it, not knowing the ins and outs of it, something like that remaining up in that area would be, I think, a positive thing, simply because kids are there, kids go there, I mean, they're used to going there.
We would prefer if it
I know
could
on the
be
Parks
up
and
there.
Trails Commission, we're talking about this thing, and I just kinda thought that's where it was gonna be, but apparently
Well, yeah, but
there's no land for it.
there's no year-round land for it, and when it was acquired by the SCA, we learned a lot disassembling it, and we learned that we would, and the community, I think, would benefit from having it somewhere else so that it could stay up.
Well, yeah,
I
that's
think
the point, I just.
A long term, if we're looking long term, like if Sawtooth Bluff gets developed, that would be a great landing place for it like permanently, but that's a few years off, if not more. So we're looking for a temporary but long-term temporary home.
So my question would, one of them, I like the idea of it being down there. Because I really, when I saw it up there in the rink, I just thought, this is great. I mean, it looks like fun, and,
Yeah.
but I get it, you need to move it. So my question is about the new bathhouse possibility, and do you think it's possible to fit, if the new bathhouse was where the group campsite is there room for this on the lakeside of a new bathhouse, do you think, and if not, we're talking the new bathhouse starting construction in 27, hopefully? Yeah, so it would only be this one summer. But
I
yeah.
think there's room, Kay, to the further south and west, like kinda like where the old shop was. Right, like currently it's showing where the old substation was in the chain linked area, but there's another big slice of undeveloped land right now, that's where the shop was. That's south of this group, it's west of the parking lot, so there is room, there's a lot of open space down there.
And Dave, would you say if there was a bathhouse down there, would you say that's where the trees are, or on the other side of the power pole from this?
No, it's be where the trees are,
Okay.
but the staging and sort of the construction zone, impact zone,
Right.
would be like presently where this top box is showing.
Do you think it's noisy? Do you think that?
There definitely is some sound associated with it. When the kids are really going around the track, you can hear, I would say it's equivalent to the skateboard park. That it's not a sound that carries very far, but it is definitely a specific sound. As I walk to I'm remembering walking across the parking lot at the community center. I usually couldn't hear kids on the pump track until I went past the edge of the building, but then I could start to hear some people there too. I have treats in my pocket, and this doggo is very excited about that. So
WTIP did a video,
Yeah.
and I think you can hear the pump track in the video.
Mm-hmm.
The reason I was thinking that you and they might talk is the bathhouse issue raises a question of exactly where and what shape this park might be. And I thought maybe you could at least get to the point of making it the optimal location, and then we would end up with the question of whether or not we wanna have that noise there and that facility there.
Well, and again, we have talked, we have met, my initial, reaction was no, was kind of Sarah Wow. Like, nope, not our problem. But I'm a team player, I'm a yes man, I like Shane. So I said, let's pitch it to the park board. I said, it's not my call, it's not my call, it's your call. We looked at potentially around the ball field area, we got a little
Yeah.
space here and there, we got an old batting cage that's no longer needed. Ideally, if we could place it over by the ball field, it would kind of blend in better with that outdoor recreation amenity, it would keep the density in that zone, we just don't feel it'll fit, right? We did these same kind of bubble diagrams over in that area where there's an old batting cage, like just to the right of the ball field parking lot, it's just not big enough space.
What does it
So
do?
it really came down to like, we look on a map, this is the only space big enough for it. Yes, we have flexibility within this space, it can go further south and to the west to not interfere with bathhouse construction, to be more buffered from the campers.
I'm hearing you say that there might be some reason to put it near the ballpark?
There isn't space for it though.
You mean, as long as the batting cage is there, you're saying, or
Still no
just even
space.
if it's gone?
Cage is gone it's not used, it's in disrepair, it needs to go away, but it's not
It's too
8,000
narrow.
square feet, yeah. It's just too tight up there, we need that ball field parking lot for parking, for auxiliary truck, trailer, boat, toy hauler parking, and this is it's easy to pull up a map and put a 10,000 square foot box on it, and this is the only area it fits.
What does it do to the group campsite there?
It's great if you're a biker, not so great if you're not.
I'm sorry, size-wise, does the group campground, does it shrink at all?
No, it
with
wouldn't
these things?
impact it. Again, I feel like there's where we put our bathhouse. This thing can live to the south and west of it.
And then what happens, where does the group campsite go with the new bathhouse? Oh, up the hill. Is that what you're saying? Or you're done? What?
It's not the most popular corner, for what
Yeah,
it's worth.
right,
It's always cold and windy.
yeah.
We do groups there, we do the bike race groups there. It's a popular spot for certain groups that can account for the cold and the wind, but it isn't a high yield corner, like, talking about how much each site makes, group one is like $2,500 a year. So it's not a huge revenue loss, et cetera. We have group two out back to the west of the ball field.
Oh, yeah.
We've got two big flat grassy open spaces for group camping, so we can continue to offer that service or that space.
Well, does somebody have a wise suggestion as to what we should do next?
Dave, when's the drop dead date on placing of the bathhouse?
There is none, but it's after, I would say this fall.
So 6 months from now.
Sooner the better. We can do it next month if you like, but there's no deadline.
And then maybe in 6 months you will know where it will go.
The pump track
No,
or the bathhouse?
The bathhouse.
We can know that as soon as we all agree that this corner is a good one.
When
So
you
we
guys,
can-
where is this thing now?
Presently, it's stored in a shipping container that's directly to the north of the old search and rescue building. So the metal building that's directly to the north of the community
When-
center.
When did you wanna lay it down?
We
Soon as
would
the snow
love to have
leaves?
it in place by the beginning of June. May, June is kind of the time for the ground to firm up. And then once the ground is firm enough, then that would be when we would love to get it
But we're
up.
flexible.
But we can be flexible, yeah.
And would you guys provide the class 5?
Yeah, we would manage all the whole site, everything. We would,
Yep.
anything that needs to.
Well, going back to Bob's, I think, so he's telling us we could make a decision on the bathhouse at any time. The drought, I mean, we want it before fall, before 6 months, but we could make that decision, like you said, next month if we
Yeah.
wanted to.
That doesn't address the noise of the track.
It does not.
And not just the noise of the track, but the noise of youth gathering and the risk of vandalism to our bathrooms and, right? Like internally, we sort of put it out as what could go wrong with this, and we think a few things, you know, kids can get out of hand, they can break things, they can vandalize campers, like it's is what it is. We're a public open space park, kids come down and steal coolers full of beer already, so, right? We don't have much control over what kids are gonna do, but it creates a amenity that could be perceived as an attractive nuisance for the wrong crowd.
Who has authority over the space that Sarah said no about?
Sarah,
She does.
Who is Sarah?
Cook County.
Sarah Waddle, she's
She's a
the,
staffer with the county.
yes.
Be the
You know,
commissioners,
so
wouldn't it?
if the county board wanted to do something different, it could.
Yeah, is there a community center board?
There is,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
there's
so that
too.
would be who we'd probably ask, but, you know, when I spoke with Sarah, who's the community center director, she said no. Dave said yes, so that's why we're here.
I said maybe.
Dave said, yes, you can talk to my board.
Yeah.
Sarah did not mention,
She didn't say you
she
could
did
talk to
not
her
say
board.
that we could
Yeah.
talk to her board.
Is there land you can
Interesting.
squeeze by the community?
Well, my question would be,
No.
when,
Nothing,
Nothing.
not
when we
possible.
talked about
We
this
were given
pump
a
track
hard
being
no.
put in, the space was allocated for it.
Yep.
It got put in. But I never knew or talked about anything about having it taken down and being moved and that kind of stuff. So I guess what happened,
The,
I mean, when it got put in place, did you guys already know that you had to dismantle it?
yes. And that
Every
was,
fall because of the fact that it was on top of the
For the ice rink.
Yeah.
ice rink.
But they probably didn't realize is how hard it would be and
Okay,
how
yeah.
potentially damaging it would be.
and as far as the effort that's necessary to put it up and take it down, I mean, we're lucky to have some really motivated, really great volunteers in our club that do a lot of work for us. And so the work part of it we're not afraid of. The real big sticky thing is that these are large fiberglass and plywood pieces that are very oddly shaped in a lot of situations. So when we found moving them around, stacking them and moving them around was extra challenging. In some of the situations, like each of the pieces kind of maxes out at about 100, 120 pounds. And so they're light enough for two guys to move around, for two people to move around.
small one.
The small ones. And in moving them around, we were afraid that some, you know, if we bump into something, if we drop one of them, you know, this is a really unique, I'm gonna call it an amenity. I don't know what you can call it. It's a really unique structure that even the company that we worked with to build it said that it's one of the largest pieces that they've made. And so I feel like our community is really lucky to have it. And we want to make sure that we can be good stewards of it, make sure that we keep it in as good a condition as we can.
How big is the Superior Cycling Association? How many people are involved in it?
We have
Go ahead.
60 members, we have board members, we
And
have
they're
34 miles of trails, you know, the mountain bike trails up at
They're pretty
Pincushion,
much within Cook County.
all Cook County, yep.
It has financial support from some of your board members here.
Oh,
Not a lot, but a little bit.
You know, and we appreciate every little bit.
But what changed,
That's what I
to
figured.
answer your question, is
Yeah.
Yeah,
just,
well, my feeling is kind of like, I mean, I know it was well thought out to put it there, but what changed?
yeah, what changed, so modular pump track, the grant writer thought, okay, well this, we can take it apart, but modular meant it comes in pieces and when assembled is meant to stay assembled. When we disassembled it this fall, we realized that that idea was flawed. And so now we're looking for solutions, and this piece of land is kind of one of the only spots that we could find that's currently available that we could put it so it's publicly available, and so that's what we're asking.
If we agreed to do 5 years and we got all kinds of complaints from people about the noise, would it be possible to have it be defeasible? That is to say, you might have to go somewhere else after all, but you could be here for a couple of years at least.
I mean, that's up to you guys. And so, you know, we being.
Well, but I'm testing the question of how you would feel about it. You know, if that you might have to move it if we discovered it was just not as much.
If in July,
not as much benefit versus cost.
if in July Dave comes to me and says, we hate it, we want it out, it would have been better not to put it here. It's going to be a heavy lift to get it from the community center down to the park, and so if we do that, we would want a few years to then muster our strength to move it again, hopefully to the Sawtooth Bluff permanently.
Is there any number of years less than 5 that would please you?
3.
Yeah, and this is one of those things that we can be flexible about this as well. We wouldn't feel comfortable moving it to a new location unless we knew that we had a home for longer than a year or two. And if it turned out that this just was not a compatible use, we believe that it will be. The hockey rink itself is pretty isolated up there as far as like nobody really has eyes on it. And throughout all of last year, we had 0 issues with vandalism. We had nothing broken out of any of it. And we even had people like the kids going in there and picking up trash after one another. And so the kids from town, and I can speak for the kids from town, appreciate the resource. And we would hope that other kids would too. Cannot say, I'm not gonna speak for other kids. But our experience of it is that it has been a positive influence on the space that it has been put in. If that doesn't prove true, and you say, oh no, this is breeding some bad behavior down here, we would appreciate the ability to be worked with, like so that we could, try and implement some different measures that would fix that before being told that we had to move it. If we were given a 3-year agreement or a 5-year agreement, that sort of a thing. Because we do believe that there are ways to appeal to the users of this equipment to say.
If I understand it correctly, you don't want to move it once you put it there. So we would want to have a place that would be sufficiently well located so we wouldn't have to think about moving it if their bathhouse issue or something like came up.
Correct, yep.
And we don't want to put it down there if it's not something that you think will add to the park. Like that's when we came here and said partnership, really do mean that. If you're all in the back of your minds thinking this is not, then we don't want to force it down there just because it's a good spot.
I lean toward wanting to see what if we could make it work. And I guess the details would matter a little bit in terms of making sure we don't have to move it if, that's why I think maybe you and Dave need to talk about a final location and description of it before we have to vote.
If the board did vote to say, to say that there's a place for it there, and that place would be dictated by a conversation between Dave and the Spear Cycling Association, then we would be glad to have that conversation and would definitely heed all of the instructions that Dave gives us. I mean, he knows that space better than anybody else. And
yeah, we could work on a better visual of the space so that maybe will answer some questions. If that's something that would help you. We could also come back with photos and a video and a visual of what it would look like down there, if that would be more helpful before you decide.
Would there be a need for anything around, I mean, bike racks or picnic tables or
Yep,
garbage
so-
cans?
With the grant that we used to purchase the equipment still has some money left in it. We were gonna use that to buy like the, you know, the benches that the YMCA has in the entryway, they're kind of that hard plastic, like recycled hard plastic. We're gonna buy benches in that vein because they are hard wearing and they are incredibly tough. And then also garbage cans and bike racks are included in that equipment. And so that's all part of the plan.
What's north of the hockey rink?
The ditch and then the community garden.
Yeah, and then a
the ball fields.
large to the east of the east side of the hockey rink, there is a very low wet space that is used as kind of a rain garden space. So there's a drainage system in there that can't really be messed with without flooding everything.
But no way of reconfiguring the squares north and east of the,
Not with that rain garden in there.
No,
I
I think
asked-
the rain garden would be.
I asked, we looked at a map and I was like, how about here, how about here, how about here? And it was all no, no, no.
yeah.
We understand it's a big ask, and you know we're just fine. You know, like giving you time to think about it. We would be glad to bring more resources back to you guys to show a little bit more of what the possibilities could be like. And like Shane was saying, we could share the video that was made, that WTIP made, that said, you know, it had interviews with kids who were just like, this is super cool. Yeah, we would be glad to do that if that works better for you. I know that this is a big question. It's a big ask. It kind of came out of left field. So we would love to to answer any questions you have, whether that be with additional information or just a little bit of time for you guys to think about it.
Do you feel like you've exhausted all the possibilities in the city?
I don't know if I'd say exhausted. The county properties, yes. We have spoken about a number of county-owned properties that have open land on them, and all of the land that we've inquired about has a specific use for at least part of the year. And so then that kind of, we can't put something permanently there. We also spoke with the school. We thought that potentially the school there'd be some synchronicities there regarding the referendum, the work that they're doing on the landscaping and the athletic facilities. And the reality of that situation too is that the athletic facilities are just taking up too much space. Like they take up pretty much all of the open space that exists in that area
Yeah,
around
kind of
the
straight
football.
east of the football field.
Yep.
There's kind of a little pocket back there that we could have put this with their permission, but the track they're gonna have to cut trees to fit the track. So they're kind of losing space, and you know the school forest they're trying to keep more as a like learning place for forest and
Right.
nature, and so
It's getting late.
yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
And I'm
to
thinking
think
that a further conversation with Dave would be useful to have an optimal location within our own physical planning. And then you could come back next time and make whatever additional presentation you wanted to do, and then we could decide what we wanted to think about it.
Well, it's where the kids would be best served versus where the county is best served, or the city with its rec park. You sort of have head-to-head competing interests. Be nice to have the kids near where the kids are now.
I'm not sure what that means.
I'm not sure either, but it seems to me there are good intentions on both sides and not enough land. I think Sarah needs to give and make up some land.
Well, do you think you could help them in that regard?
No.
See what
Is
we
there
know on the
someone who-
But I'd
community
love to
center.
look at a map of the land of the county and the city and the school north of the hockey rink or the curling rink and see if something could be done moving those pieces around.
Rumor has it the recycling center's short-lived. I
Oh.
don't know that timeline, but it's with the
Because
new
of-
transfer
Because of
station.
the transfer station.
When is that, Dave?
I don't have any specifics.
I heard 3 to 5 years. So it's, it could be much faster, but that's what I heard, so.
I like Steve's suggestion of we'll go back to back to the drawing board. We
I'll
can
reach
work
out,
on this location with it not interfering with that corner and our bathhouse plans. Cause I know there's space to the west.
I
Look
like
at it
that
in April. You guys have a month then to think about it,
Yeah.
talk about it with your friends and neighbors too.
Right.
And we'll come back with,
Looking.
we definitely will keep looking.
Yeah.
I mean, we still have a short list of places. We
And
just
when
wanted
we
to-
come
Talk to the
back, if you have
community
anything
center
more
board.
persuasive to show us, whether it's videos or pictures or drawings or any of those things.
Yeah.
That would be nice to have.
Yeah.
We shall be prepared.
I maybe
We
made
like
the
to say
assumption
yes
that
when we can.
everyone had
I
seen it,
understand.
cause it was up all summer, but, not everybody
Right.
gets
People
out to
go
every
there.
corner of the county, so,
All right,
Yeah.
we'll see you next month.
thank you.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you
I'll
for your
reach out.
time, guys.
Thank you guys.
We have one item left on the agenda, and that's Arrowhead AED. It shouldn't take very long. Is there anybody here representing that proposal? Please come up and give us 2 cents worth,
See ya.
or maybe $2 worth.
I got 5 cents.
Oh, good, I got paid.
Say your name, by the way, this is the welcome dog.
Yes, we
His
fell
name
in
is
love with our
Courtney.
welcome dog.
On Sundays, he's the hound of heaven.
So I'm Chris Smith, this is my friend Rich Furlong and my mother Kathleen back there. And we have formed what started off just raising some money for an AED tower. There's a story that goes with it, but anyway, for another time. And it turned out to be much bigger than I anticipated, so I formed a nonprofit, Arrowhead AED, to service the Arrowhead and hoping to raise enough money to put these save stations throughout areas needed. So the first one, of course, we would like to put in Harbor Park, right in this area, because it sure would be a lot prettier than what's there.
Thank you.
Yep.
Shoot, like this.
Where does it go?
Where would it be, right, yeah,
Well, it just in that area,
that general area, but
That
there's
general
power
area.
there.
By the power
Thing.
unit.
and what would
Presumably
go,
the car has to park there, right?
what's that?
No,
There has to be a car.
No,
What's being charged?
no, it's a,
it's a save tower, it's an AED, restart your heart.
Defibrillator.
If I knew what AED was, I wouldn't ask any
Well, it's a good
questions.
thing you don't know what it is.
That's it.
And she's got pictures.
So this is so the AED is the,
Automatic external.
Defibrillator.
There you go.
so if you're having a heart attack, these will bring you back to life.
It's a health machine.
It is a health
Okay,
machine.
thank you.
So this is what is designed right now. The tower is the one on the left, the one on the right is the outside one that is going to be attached to the community center next to the fields and the skate park.
So 2 people can have heart attacks at the same time and be
Yep,
treated
well, I'm
instead of
hoping
just
10
one.
people can by the time we're done with this project.
Okay,
So anyway, did everybody?
I got
Okay.
pretty pictures, yeah.
So anyway, with that, what we are doing, what we're asking for is to be able to put it there. When it comes to the estimate and I know that there's questions about, the money part of it. Can you explain that better
Yeah,
for me?
we would, as the AED, Arrowhead AED, we would be donating the actual tower and the AED that goes in the tower. When we purchase the tower, they come with cellular, so that the tower itself has a 3-year package, which would be hooked up to call the county dispatch, which will then, of course, call the ambulance and whatnot when the cabinet is opened. The AED itself has an 8-year cellular that keeps track of where the AED goes. So if it is stolen, they're cellular, so we can track it. It has the capability of doing that. And also with the tower itself, it comes with a 3-year warranty, and they maintain it. The company that we're purchasing them through, they maintain it. For the initial part, that's part of our donation. Then after that, those time periods end up, it would be on the park's part to either maintain that maintenance or come back to us and request another grant, which we would consider. And then if we were to grant it, then the county or the park board would be out nothing, as long as we were still having funds coming in to put that back into circulation. Because they are they're not really, they're about $150 a year to maintain each one of those parts. So approximately, for the maintenance part, for 3 years, it's $599, I believe. And that's if any time it's be used, they would come in, take care of the batteries, resupply it, clean it, and then reinstall it. And then if it's used, it also becomes part of the person, whoever it gets used on, it becomes part of their medical, it records everything, so it becomes part of their medical chart. So until it's downloaded, it's out of service.
So what's the save rate?
Personally,
So I drop over in Harbor, down in the park at Bear Tree Park.
mhm.
So what's the save rate? With
Someone would of course have to call 911, someone would have to go get the unit
Yep,
and place it on you.
But when it's pulled out, it calls
It calls
911
911
right
also,
away.
as soon as it's pulled out.
Yes.
yeah,
And then once it gets put on you, it automatically reads and tells people what they have to do on where to put the leads.
yeah.
It walks you through it.
Then it will tell the person that put it on that it's gonna shock you. If it reads the particular rhythm, it'll tell you if a shock is needed, and then it automatically does it.
So what started this was a friend of mine, her 27-year-old son was playing pickleball last spring, and he went into cardiac arrest. His girlfriend knew that one of these had just been put in at the pickleball. She went and got it, shocked him 3 times.
Yeah.
And he's living very well. Otherwise, if that hadn't been there, he would not be.
Yeah. But
So they are very life-saving.
but who determines if it's appropriate and if that needs to be done?
When it gets put on,
When it gets put on, the
when the
machine will
leads get
tell
put
you.
on, one gets put up here, one gets put down here.
Yeah,
And the machine itself
Does it?
does it, it reads it and says if the rhythm that you're in is a shockable rhythm or not.
Yeah, it'll say no shock needed.
Yeah,
okay,
because there's plumbing heart issues, which this probably wouldn't
No.
help. It's the electrical part,
It's the electrical
which is,
part.
which
Yeah.
kills people instantly.
and then what's the save rate having it?
Huge.
Huge.
So,
I personally had an internal one,
yeah,
and if I didn't have the internal one, I wouldn't be here today.
yeah,
So, I mean, and Rory, the
27.
27-year-old that had it there, if he wouldn't have had it, he wouldn't be with us.
right, but the average citizen in Bear Tree Park who's down with an MI, what are their odds of dying versus their odds of surviving with this?
They're drastically increased by
You
having
can't
this
give me-
compared to,
Can't give me numbers on that.
I don't have,
I
No,
don't
but
know,
I can-
I'd have to call the ambulance or the hospital and ask them.
Cause
I
I
don't
teach,
know what the
I
numbers on
teach
that would be.
CPR first aid and,
I don't care if it's one person.
yeah, but I teach CPR first aid and since he's been going, you know, if you were in Bear Tree Park and you had a
The big one,
issue,
the big one, yeah.
and if the difference between me doing CPR or somebody going and getting this,
Yeah.
probably about an 85% chance better.
So
of
there's a
surviving.
number.
Huge.
Matthew,
And then, and
there's a
this
number.
is,
That's
but this is old, I'm talking about last time I attended class.
yeah, I don't know the exact
It's-
numbers. I
it's
mean,
a
I've
huge
been
number. It's-
I went and took the Red Cross class to be able to,
You wanna be able to use this, yes.
Cause I see a maintenance cost with this and a responsibility and a liability risk. And I think you just need to have those numbers and lay those three things out. Who is responsible for it functioning well? Who will maintain it? And then where's the final liability for it if, for example, you attempt to use it and it fails to work?
So Paul, who came up, who's the one that was working with us on this, he says that he has never had an issue with them. The only issue that was human error. He's never had one fail. He's got them all through the cities, all through Minnesota.
And the units are with the cellular that's on the AED that would be installed is continually sending signals to their site, and it is monitored constantly. So if the battery is low or something, they get a signal and then they get here and take care of it.
Okay, I just think if it's part of the park and it's mechanical and it's medical, it bears a liability.
Yep, as of everything probably does. So where does the liability?
That would be a Paul question. I know that they are with their, let's see, the maintenance itself is program management, medical direction, web tracking, registration, post-event, Wi-Fi connection, customer support, and forward hearts that's a non-refundable. We've already purchased it. But that's what the unit itself from Advanced First Aid provides.
So how does I see the liability part of it.
Once
Well,
we
it's the
donate
park's-
it,
The park's liability.
Right, right.
If it's plugged into the park's electricity and it's in a public space, it's the park's liability.
Risk.
Ultimately, the cities.
I'm not opposed to defibrillators at all.
Right, no,
It's just, I can envision one
cities.
not functioning
Do we
or
have one in this building?
something bad
Right,
happens.
Yeah, so.
I can see it from here.
yep, there are.
So we
other
have one in the
cities-
park office, we have one in the library, we have one in the golf
So the
course
city
clubhouse.
has them, the city's already assumed the fact that they have them, so this would just be another unit.
So I'm just
Only
getting
an
Paul on
outside.
the phone. Paul?
Yeah,
Hi, so a question here at the meeting. Ask him.
yep.
Who would be ultimately liable once the unit is installed in Harbor Park?
It's whoever owns it.
Either the manufacturer of the product or the ones who own it.
Whoever
which would
owns
be
it.
us.
Whoever owns it, so
So that-
once we donated it to the park board or the city, it would be the park board or the cities.
Yeah.
And Craig, does the city
Yeah,
own
once you
some of
donate
these?
it, correct.
Okay, that's what we thought, but I just wanted to be sure on
And
that.
you're cozy with
Yeah,
that?
but with the
Is that
maintenance
after
plan,
3
we'll
years?
take care of all the maintenance though. So they won't have to like, do anything dirty, get dirty or anything.
Right?
But the only thing we would need is someone to communicate with. So if we get an alert, right, that there's something wrong, because we're 4 hours away, if someone could just go over to the cabinet and take a look at it and say, yeah, there's a red light on, or no, it's maybe just a malfunction, or, like, we had one time a snowplow ran it over, right? So we got the alert that there was a problem, but we didn't know what the problem was. And there's a big difference between, a basketball hit it or something versus a snowplow running it, completely running it over. So that's all they'd have to do, and we do everything from that point on.
And that's with the maintenance plan?
Yes, correct.
Yeah, okay.
So is this just, like you said, there's the AED devices in all these city
Yes.
buildings and all over.
And these
But
are just for
this
the
is just an outdoor.
outdoor one because
Yeah.
everyone can't get to them inside. And then
yeah.
these are heated for the winter and then cooled for really
Oh, they
hot.
are heated for the winter, because
Yes.
that was one of the pages where it talked about below a certain temperature.
Well, there would be a period in the winter, once the temperature dropped, that the AED would have to be removed. At which time we'd have to have the cabinet turn off so all the lights weren't on showing
Yeah,
that it was there.
so it would
You would
only
have
be
to
there.
do that. You could just put a sign saying AED out of service for the season, you can say that. As far as keeping the power on, it's not gonna run up an electric bill, it's very, very minimal electric that it draws. But I think if you do have an area that, that's not gonna be used during the winter, and, obviously it does get, extremely cold there for a couple weeks during the year, it's advisable just to take it out to begin with then. However, we didn't do that this year, we had no problems.
So they were in cabinets all winter, and they haven't been removed yet.
Yeah.
In the
Yeah.
cities?
In fact,
Well, yeah, around,
Rogers High School had their power shut off for like 5 months, the entire winter, and forgot to take the AED out. And what happened was the battery just ran out of juice. We popped a new battery in and it worked fine. So the AED was outside in the elements all winter long and did not get damaged.
okay.
Do you have any input for us, David?
If it's a donation, the city council has to approve it.
Yeah.
That's the first thing I have heard. So tonight would be more just a recommendation for council review and approval. I was interested in installation costs,
Yeah.
like putting this, you can't put it in the flower beds, it's gotta be at a
Oh.
very accessible location.
Right.
Kind of front and center, so aesthetics, we have that to play with, like if we have a natural and scenic vista down there, the view is super important. This is a very brightly colored kiosk. The location is gonna become really important where you want it visible, but this park is not meant for these types of
Right.
things in front of the view. Costs, always an issue. What's the heating and cooling costs annual? Like what is it cost to heat the cabinet in the wintertime?
Do you have an idea on that, Paul?
Well, I don't know the exact number, but I know it's minimal.
Okay.
It's not
It's just the electricity running for the heater motor inside.
What type of base does it need to sit on?
Well, it'll be concrete, and I got that donated. I mean, so it's not, it's just a concrete,
It's as big as that, it's just, that's the footprint of it, what
Base.
we're looking at. Well,
It's like a
It
sonotube.
sounds to me like that this might be a good thing for you guys to write up something that's got, answers the questions that have been raised here today as best you can.
yes.
And bring it back to us next month.
There
Unless
was,
somebody's fired up
You
for
say it's
approving it today.
communicates.
there was a nice, sorry,
Yeah, it's got,
I think
it's
that
got
pretty much
Wi-Fi.
sums it up for now, Paul.
It's like a
I'll
Wi-Fi
keep you
enabled
posted.
device, so it must have its own like data plan.
Thank
Oh.
you, bye-bye.
So that somebody has to pay that or
After the 3-year
after 3 years?
donation.
What's it for?
It's 3 years on the, or 4 years on the tower itself. And then the AED itself is 8 years.
For the data plan?
Yes.
And our goal is to keep
Keep this
fundraising
going.
and keep it going so that you guys, that people who do get these come back and say, hey, it's time for renewal, because we want to keep this going. We don't want to just say, here's your AD and see it later, we don't want things to sizzle out, and I believe it's a great thing.
The goal is to keep it maintained and functional throughout the history until you decide you wanna not have it there,
Right,
Yep.
whenever that is or not, whatever. But you do need, so basically what I know here is you do need an electrical hookup to it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I
And
believe,
we have power right there in a couple of spots down there.
It's close by, but it would take underground
Right.
work to get it
Right.
to the tower.
Yeah.
Would that be something you'd pay for?
in Arrowhead said he would gonna donate that
Arrowhead,
electric.
well, I didn't talk to them.
Okay.
we're on city power.
Yeah.
No, we'd need an electrical contractor to do like the
Yeah.
wiring
To do
Right.
wiring.
and underground trenching.
I think it would depend on where we place it.
So
how
where
much
does
it
that
is.
work with my, my relative is Jeff Eliason, who's also a power guy
No.
down here. But, so I
It
didn't,
doesn't do that kind of.
I didn't know, that's why I was asking.
Yeah, you can't do that.
So, yeah, I guess we would have to get an estimate on that. I mean, there's a lot of things that, it's just all still a lot of very learning things for us to
Yeah.
definitely. But our goal is that it's, for it not to cost the people that we donate them to a bunch of money. I mean, the electricity might be something, but then too, we're having fundraisers, gonna try to keep raising funds, we've got people donating. So right now, we've got just the 2 coming. I do have 2 AEDs portables coming, for 2 of the schools, cause they have to have them on buses now and stuff, so one's going to Birch Grove and one to Grand Portage.
Do you guys have like the hospital on board with this and the ambulance crew? Like, have you?
Well, I called Benny, but he didn't have much to say, so,
And
no.
the AED itself is, there's a physician on board that has to like write a prescription for that, for the unit, and that's covered in the maintenance plan.
But do you have like the support of the ambulance crew? Like, are they recommending this?
Oh, they don't, I mean, I don't know why they think it'd be dumb, I mean, I don't know why, why would they need to recommend it or
Just
not?
because they're the experts in this.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
did they recommend one in the hallway? I mean, they're everywhere in town. We're just putting.
we're just trying to get it accessible for everybody.
Because everybody's
No, I
isn't
get that.
accessible.
Yeah.
But we also know the ambulance is accessible and less than 5 minutes away if you make that call
Maybe.
too.
Sometimes.
Maybe.
Well, that's what I wanna find out.
Right. I know of a time when a guy was driving on the highway and I saw him dead in his vehicle, and if we would have just had that defibrillator right there, I mean, this was right a block away from Fair Tree Park. You know, so there's many, ambulance might not have gotten there that, I did reach out to Benny about it, but he didn't really give me 2 cents about anything, so that's kind of where he was the first one I called.
Where in the city are they?
Park office, library, liquor store.
You have
city
one in
hall.
your office?
Yep.
Indoor ones,
Does
Indoor
that
one.
keep
you know,
you,
those red,
keep you awake at night?
I don't
Nope.
know how many
It
businesses.
does not appear to be a great additional issue in terms of liability kinds of questions. We already have that liability hanging out there for these other locations, so the question is whether this location is a good one.
Yeah, I mean,
Whether it fits.
it's a great idea, and I'm all for zapping people, and I've done a few myself, but the liability needs to be crystal clear. If it's outdoors in the snow and Dave's responsible, you know. We just have to be sure that that channel is clearly drawn.
You're talking about the liability if the unit itself gets damaged?
Yeah, I mean, the person using it is whoever happens to be walking by. That's not an issue. It's just, was the gadget fully functional, and did we expect it to perform?
That is what the maintenance,
Right.
That's why
And
it's-
if it does not perform, why did it not perform, and who's liable?
Well, you gotta do the
So,
maintenance on it.
is my suggestion that you write up answers to all of these issues that have been discussed as best you can and come back next month,
Okay.
okay?
Anything
Do you
else?
have a good understanding of the issues and questions?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. The main one is the liability, the cost of the hookup, or what that will be to have an electrician come in and hook it up, which, and I don't know if anybody wants to see any of the plans on how it's all hooked up, I've got it, I can leave it.
yeah, we got copies of that.
If this is just,
Oh,
if this is just one more gadget on the city's existing network of defibrillators, then that's great, it's not a problem.
Uh-huh.
But I think you have to define why it's safe being outdoors through the park department.
Well, because where I wanna put it is in the park.
Yeah.
I can't help it that it's you guys are in charge.
Yeah, and for sure, we would need to develop the exact location.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh, absolutely. That was just because I can watch it from my office window. you know.
Yeah. And use that for estimating what it would cost
Right.
to electrify it.
Choose the location that, and now that everything's not growing down there, you'll be able to see like, where's a good spot for it, and you can.
We had an idea that it'd kind of live on a kiosk with the dog bag dispensers, there's already a mutt mitt dispenser down there on the back side of this pine tree. We have a little doggy bag with a garbage can.
Got a couple of them out there, yeah.
Yeah.
So you would be street facing then?
You want it
Not
facing the
park
street, like this kiosk would face the street,
that's where the people are.
makes sense,
Mm-hmm.
the sidewalk, right, okay.
Is anybody else ready for supper?
Well,
There is one at the community center.
There,
Yeah.
there's,
Community center has one, yeah.
well, there's
Yeah,
one
one
inside,
inside.
but we bought one for them for
There's no
outside
outside
on the
key
wall.
in
They
these
wanted one
Marais.
to have it propped
Outside, not as far as I
Attached.
know, no.
to their
It's
wall
the first-
outside.
They're
So that's
all
why the tennis
inside-
courts,
inside
pickleball,
businesses.
the
Yeah.
baseball fields.
So that's county.
Yeah, that's what I'm working on. I'm
Right.
just here
This is
first.
city.
Yes, yeah. I was just showing you the two different ones that we have purchased.
Yeah.
The two different styles.
It might help to know where in the city they exist,
We are
We are-
working on a map.
where in the local county they exist, and how this is a logical extension and is worth the maintenance cost and the install cost. And then you can ease the liability down with that. Part of a network rather than a unique gadget.
Well, it's no cost to the city until 3 years, correct?
Yes,
And then it's around $600 for a 3-year.
yes.
It's pretty inexpensive, I think.
Well, especially if they're monitoring everything and,
right.
and then of course, we're here too to make sure things are, working.
Well, like you said, if there's a problem with it along the way, they know it. So
Yep, they know it
then
instantly.
They have to have a contact person then, I would imagine.
Yes.
Yep.
In Grand Marais to go physically check it.
I believe that I will be one of the
Okay.
contacts with the stuff that is put out. But I won't be, I would just be able to go there, and if they say that there's something malfunctioning, I can look at it.
And that
But I'm not,
would be within the first 3 years. Then after that, obviously somebody from the city would have to be a contact person, I would.
well, the city would, we'd still have to have a city person, but I would be, they want multiple people.
Okay, right, okay. To notify.
Presumably the city already has people worrying about the other machines, right?
No, I don't think these other machines have the capability that this one has, though. These other machines probably aren't Wi-Fi connected or hooked up.
I would
That's true.
You
I
see
would
what I'm saying?
say no, but they could be Wi-Fi.
These probably have to be maintained annually by someone's gotta check the batteries to make sure they're okay.
Check the pads.
And
the
buy a
pads
new battery if
expire.
they need to, which are probably very expensive. You know, that's part of it.
Pads, the pads expire.
Oh, yeah.
They're temperature sensitive, that's why it has to be in a climate control cabinet. I'm surprised if it sat cold all winter, it was just the battery that went bad, no, the pads would have gone bad too.
Yeah.
They would have froze.
So,
So-
yeah, it's maintenance, okay.
And then too, Bear Tree Park is pretty quiet in January, so it's considering, July and August, so, anyway. When is the next meeting and how can we get on that?
First Tuesday in April, I don't have the date off the
That's
top of
fine,
my
first
head,
Tuesday in
but
April. So we're having our fundraiser April 11th at Up Yonder. We're having a slobber dobber cook-off,
Oh, what?
slobber dobber cook-off. And I did call the radio and I haven't heard back yet.
Maybe they're looking for, what is a slobber dobber?
Anything sloppy on the butt. So you bring in your crock pot, I don't care if it's egg salad, I've got a vegan dish
Gotcha.
coming. If it's sloppy Joe, we'll have a salad bar. Paul, or the guys from
Slobber
AD is coming up to give a presentation on how to use the machines, to answer any questions. We'll have raffles and all that.
You've captured our attention far longer than anybody ever has. That's not your fault. These people just keep asking questions. Yes, sir.
Paranoid physician here.
What's that?
I'm a paranoid physician.
Okay, so
I wanna
we're
make
moving
sure-
that we adjourn, right?
I wanna make sure the liability on this is crystal clear.
Right, that's what they're gonna talk about
Yeah,
next time.
exactly.
There we go.
I'm probably the only person in the room who has defibrillated anybody, and I'm very sensitive about it being done accurately and
And I want you to be satisfied, but would you mind moving for adjournment?
I mean, it might be me laying down there, you know?
Were you scared when you used it?
I've used it also.
No, that was my
Well, the
job.
old ones
Okay.
were.
The old ones where you had to take it off,
Oh.
where you had to take it off and put the actual pads
I'm
in.
all for saving people, you just wanna be sure that if there's no save, nobody gets any blame.
Right, well,
That's the
The
medical
person
liability
operating it
paradigm.
can't be held harm. The person operating it can't be held liable.
No, but the machine can be held liable.
That I don't know.
it's still calling 911 for you too. If we could pull it off, if it doesn't work, it's still getting 911 to you.
Which is why the ambulance, who was just 5 blocks up the street, needs to know where the outdoor,
Oh, they'll know every,
Go
yes,
down.
and at our Slobber Dabber cook-off, we will have a maps of where they are right
Yeah,
now.
Slobber
And
Dabber.
so we've
Would
got
you
a lot
mind
of stuff,
moving for adjournment, please?
because we want everyone to
So
be.
moved.
Yeah, his move for adjournment, is there a second?
you're just way too comfortable, you're not gonna need this thing yet tonight, so.
They're gonna answer all your questions next month.